Speaking of former athletes
Yeah.
and that athlete mentality, joining us now on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline as an analyst is Mitchell Juergens, sideline reporter for BYU Radio. Mitchell, welcome back to the show.
Thanks. It's good to be here. Good to hear your voices.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. New role for you. What is your experience, or what has your experience been like the first 2 weeks as the new sideline reporter for BYU Radio, working with Greg Wrubell and Mark Lyons?
Man, it's awesome. It's as a player, you always kind of want to be a part of the game. Once you finish playing, you don't want to accept the fact that I'm no longer a player, and it's when I for the 2017 season I wasn't involved, and it was difficult. And so the first thing that's I guess has stood out to me is just being back on the sideline, watching the Cougars from the ground level. It brings a sense of, hey, I'm kind of still living out this football dream, and it's been awesome. I've absolutely loved it.
Okay, BYU taking on Wisconsin, but let's rewind to the Cal game before we look ahead. From a receiver standpoint, as a former receiver here at BYU, what did you think of the performance of that particular group in that game?
I think it can improve for sure. I think, from a fan perspective, I think receivers have very, very high expectations. They drop one ball and receivers start to get heat for, not catching the ball. And let's, be honest, receivers aren't going to be perfect. No player is perfect and is going to catch every ball that comes his way. But I think the consistency can improve for sure. We did see a number of dropped passes, and that's something that I hope the receivers take to heart. And in practice this week, they're catching extra balls after practice, and you kind of want to see that aggression, the tenacity off the line, just like they're ready to play. And I don't necessarily think I saw guys kind of go above and beyond, and maybe that translated with the drop passes. But we've got great receivers. They're great athletes. They know how to catch the ball. They know what it takes to win. And so I'd like to see that translate through their confidence, because with confidence, those guys will catch anything.
Mitchell Juergens with us on BYU Sports Nation. Mitchell, what did you see, or what have you seen on the sideline in the first two games of the season for BYU that makes you think just maybe BYU has a shot against the Badgers?
Yeah, I definitely think the intensity and the discipline is where it needs to be a competitive team. That's not an easy task going against a Wisconsin Badgers team who has been so successful for so many years, and especially the last couple years. This is a very talented team. But, to answer your question, I think the discipline's there. I think guys are being held accountable for mistakes they made and then for fulfilling their jobs. And it's the little things that's going to win a football game, especially against this Badgers team. It's being physical up front, making play-by-play, not trying to do more than what you're asked. And so I think the discipline's there. I think the coaching staff I see a lot of promise in those guys. And taking to beat that team, they've got to take it one play at a time and just, chip away at getting, closing in on a victory against them.
Mitchell, I think if BYU had a tremendous game last week and was 2-0, there would still be some hesitancy in embracing the idea that BYU is going to go and win at Wisconsin. Yeah, there's always a chance, for sure. But BYU played a game where they scored one touchdown offensively late and had 287 yards of offense. So what do you think will be drastically different from BYU's overall performance, especially on offense, from last week to this week, even though the opponent is significantly better?
Yeah, what I hope to see from BYU's offense is I want to see them finish drives. In the first half against Cal, we dominated the time of possession. We had the ball twice as long as Cal, but only put up 3 points. So you saw first downs, you saw them move the ball, but they just couldn't finish. I think going into Wisconsin, if they can just figure out how to get points on the board, even if it's just a field goal, you keep moving the ball, you keep marching, you put points on the board, and that's how teams are supposed to finish to be able to win games. And so I think, for sure, we didn't see the best performance last week against Cal. And even though Wisconsin is a far better team, in my opinion, than Cal, that doesn't mean that this game, BYU is going to fall over and not show up. They can. I know this week they're going to, work on finishing and capitalizing on turnovers and big plays by the defense. And so I think, maybe this is what they needed to wake up and say, hey, this is big time football, and we've got to show up to win games.
Former BYU receiver, the Starman, and now BYU radio sideline reporter Mitchell Juergens with us on BYU Sports Nation. Our question of the day, Mitchell, is how would you define success for BYU against Wisconsin? Understanding that the Cougars are a 21.5-point underdog. They're coming off a very disappointing loss, and we're talking about a college football playoff contender in Wisconsin. It's black and white as an athlete. You win or you lose, no other conversation. But now that you're in the media and you are examining things differently, how would you define success for BYU on Saturday?
Yeah, I think if they can play 4 quarters of good football, I think that's a success. Of course, as an athlete, and that's a completely different argument. You win or you lose. If you lose, and how can it be a success? But to this team, especially against Wisconsin, I think if they show signs of a good football team and they play hard each and every quarter, I think it's going to be a good game. I don't expect a blowout if BYU comes out and plays hard and moves the ball each and every quarter. But I think that's huge. We saw glimpses against Arizona and Cal of a good football team, but we haven't seen full 4 quarters of a great football team. And so I think that's something that, if we can look at and say, hey, we moved the ball in each quarter, we got first downs, the defense made a big stop in each quarter, I think, that's going to be a success for the Cougars.
Yeah, I think we've seen one great quarter from BYU. It was the third quarter against Arizona, and that's it. The other 7 have been not as good, right? Let's hope that BYU can string together at least something. And that's been hard for teams against Wisconsin. But I want to finish with this. You've seen Tanner Mangum at his best, which was 2015. So when Tanner Mangum is most successful, what is he doing and what is he not doing?
Man, he's just having fun out there on the field. Tanner's, I know you guys have interacted with Tanner quite a bit. He's a happy guy. The guy's always got a smile on his face. And on the field, when I was a player and played with him in 2015, we come back, off the sideline, and the guy's smiling. The guy's giving high fives. He's patting people on the back. He's a very optimistic leader, and I see that translate to his performance. And so if he can just maintain that positive attitude on the sideline, helping his teammates, his receivers, his backs, his line know that they can see the confidence in him, I think that's going to be huge for not only the team but also for Tanner.
Mitchell Juergens with us on BYU Sports Nation. We'll finish with this, Mitchell. The Bell Tower apparently is taking song requests. If you had a song you wanted to hear on the BYU Bell Tower, what would it be?
My current, favorite song that I play on my way to work, to and from work, is Luke Combs' "Houston, We Got a Problem."
Of course, you would play a song by Houston.
I'm a sucker for country music, and I think that it references Houston. It touches home with me. So if I heard that on the Bell Tower, that would be awesome.
Nice.
I don't know how the Bells can get quite that country twang, but we'll see. We'll see what they can do.
I'd like to see them try. It'd be a unique little twist. So.
Yes. Love it, man. Hey, we appreciate the time, Mitchell, and I'll see you in Madison at Camp Randall, man.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Mitchell Juergens joining us on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, your values, your timeline, your financial future.
Of course, the Houston kid wants a Houston
hey,
song,
thanks,
man.
man.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
No, thank you, Mitchell.